Hi, I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'm making this little video in response to a viewer's question. He asked me, hey Brian, I'm a new technician and I want to start buying tools and start getting serious about working on cars. So he asked me what I would start out with and buy. So I thought I'd make this little video and walk you through some of the primary tools, the basic tools. These aren't specialty tools or anything, these are just basic tools. So I thought I'd walk you through that and show you what I would invest my money in.
So one of the first investments I would make is buying a set of quality metric wrenches from 7 millimeters all the way up to 22 millimeter. These wrenches are going to be your main go-to wrenches. So you want to buy the best quality wrench you can find or afford. So there's brands like Snap-on, Cornwell, Gear Wrench, all these Craftsman, all these make great quality wrenches. You just want to make sure they all have lifetime warranties because you do break tools. Next, you want to invest in a set of standard wrenches from 1/4 inch all the way up to 1 inch. You don't use them as often, but if you run across older American vehicles, you'll definitely need a set of these wrenches to work on them. In the case of my wrenches, I didn't go out and buy the Snap-on top of the line because I don't use them very often, but I did buy a professional series Craftsman wrenches. They work amazing and they cost a lot less than Snap-on and some of the other brands. So I would recommend doing something like that. The next set of wrenches I would invest my money in is line wrenches. So I would get both standard and metric line wrenches. You'll use these a lot on brakes, power steering hoses, AC jobs, those type of things. And you'll definitely need a set of line wrenches. The next set of wrenches I would invest in would be a good quality ratcheting wrenches. So I would at least get a set of metric ratcheting wrenches from 8 millimeter up to 19 millimeter. Later on, you can get more specialty wrenches. You go up in larger sizes and smaller sizes. But for now, these are your basics. And if you're working in a shop that works on a lot of older cars, then you can consider getting the standard wrenches. But for the most part, the metrics are the ones you're going to want to have. This next set of wrenches has really made my life a lot easier. And they're made by Mountain. They're about 18 inches long. They're flex head ratcheting wrenches. These are great for doing oil changes. They work great with brake jobs and calipers and stuff like that. I would have to say these are actually my favorite wrenches that I own. At the end of this video, I'm going to link up all my top 10 picks for the tools to start out with. These will definitely be in the description. So the next investment I would make would be into ratchets and breaker bars. So I would start out with 1/2 inch drive, 3/8 drive, and 1/4 inch drive, and also torque wrenches. So I'm going to start with the 1/2 inch drive breaker bar. It's about 2 feet long. You want to get a good quality one with a warranty because you do break these quite often as you work on suspensions and subframes and different jobs like that. So make sure you get a good quality one with a warranty. So next I would recommend a long handle 1/2 inch ratchet. I've had the shorter ones and they were just frustrating to use, so I definitely recommend to get a long one. Next, I would recommend a straight handle or a straight flex head 3/8 drive ratchet. This will be your go-to day-to-day ratchet. Next, I would recommend one of these flex head angled tune-up style ratchets. These work great for doing spark plug, working in tight spaces. That little bend in the handle allows you to put a lot of torque in it when you have the handle, their head flexed over in certain angles. Next, I would recommend a 3/8 drive breaker bar. I don't use it very often, but I use cheater bars and I put it on there and they help break nuts and bolts free and different angles and stuff. So I would definitely recommend having one of those also. Next, I would recommend one of my favorite ratchets in my toolbox, which is this 3/8 drive flex head. It's a shorty ratchet and I use this one a lot. This one's very handy in tight spaces, so I would definitely recommend you pick up one of these. For 1/4 inch, you're going to want a flex head and a standard straight ratchet. That's pretty much all I use, and they pretty much do everything I've ever thrown at them. I will say I tend to use this long flex head 1/4 inch ratchet here 90% of the time. But due to their length, they tend to break a lot because you put a lot of torque on them, so I would make sure you get one with a good warranty. Now let's talk torque wrenches. This one here is a 1/2 inch drive foot-pound torque wrench. I use this one a lot for doing tires, torquing tires and cylinder heads and suspension parts and stuff like that. So you want to get a good quality 1/2 inch drive torque wrench. Next, you'll want to invest in a 3/8 drive inch-pound torque wrench. This one you'll use on more like engine rebuilds, like bearing caps and fine-tuning type torquing stuff. So these are some of the basics you'll get started with, and obviously you'll grow from here as you grow in your skills and what you're working on. So you're going to want to invest in some quality extensions, wobbly sockets. So you're definitely going to want to invest into at least one long 1/2 inch drive extension, maybe a medium, and definitely a short. You can probably buy them in a set, but I ended up buying these individually. I would recommend you buy a set, a 1/4 inch drive extensions, and they come with long, medium, short, everything in between. Then you're going to want to get a quality set of 3/8 drive extensions with all the different size adapters. And these are the ones you're going to use most of the time, so you want to make sure you have a good warranty on these. Next, you're going to want to have a 1/2 inch drive, 3/8 drive, and 1/4 inch drive universal sockets. You'll find these to be very useful to get to those tight spots. You'll definitely want to invest in the adapter set, so you can adapt from half inch to 3/8 and 3/8 to 1/2 inch, and so on and so on. So that's going to be your basics for extensions, adapters, and wobbly sockets. Next, you're going to want to invest in some 1/4 inch sockets. You don't want to get too fancy with these. Just your basic standard metrics will work great. So you'll get from 4mm up to about 13, and then this set goes from 4mm up to 15mm in the deep. And you'll also want to get a set of standard short and deep. Next, you're going to want to invest in some 3/8 drive sockets. I have a set of metric ones here from 8mm up to 19, and then my deep here go from 8mm up to 24mm. So these are pretty much going to be your standard set. You may also want to duplicate this in standard sockets from 1/4 inch up to 1 inch from short and deep. And that'll get you started with the basics there. From there, you can grow to your more specialty socket. So next, I invested in a set of impact 1/2 inch drive sockets. The short ones go from 10mm all the way up to 36mm, and that's been a great set for me. Then you may also want to invest in a deep set of sockets, more towards the bigger, like 36, 34, 32, those type of sockets. You may or may not want to get them in a set. Now I'll go over some basic power tools that you're going to want to have in your collection. So you're going to want to have a 1/2 inch drive, either air or electric impact gun. I would actually recommend the electrics to start out with. They tend to be a lot more versatile than the air powered ones. So you're going to use your 1/2 inch drive here to remove tires, suspension parts, and stuff like that. Next, you're going to want to have a 3/8 drive impact gun. This little electric one right here is the one I tend to use 90% of the time, even over the 1/2 inch drive. They have so much torque and power that you can actually remove tires and wheels with these. So these will definitely make the list of tools that I recommend in the description of the video. Now we're going to move on to air ratchets, or ratchets. The air ratchets are going to have a little bit more torque than the electrics, but the electric ones are a lot more versatile and you can take them with you. The next power tool I would recommend is an impact hammer. I would recommend getting the biggest one you can find. There's like 100 different attachments you can use with these to get different fasteners and stuff loose and free, and so these are a great power tool to have. The next power tool I want to talk to you about is the die grinder. Now this one you're going to use a lot to clean gaskets and different jobs. So I'd recommend getting a straight and a 90-degree angle one. So these are going to be the standard basic power tools that I would recommend. So I'll definitely link up most of these in the description of the video. I also have all of these available on my website at howtoautomotive.com. So next we're going to talk pliers. So you're going to want to get a standard set of pliers like this one. This one's going to be like your workhorse you use all the time. So these would be considered medium pliers. I would recommend a set of these. And I also recommend a set of large pliers like this. And after that, you're going to get your standard basic plier set. And then after that, I would recommend needle nose. So you would get your basic needle nose. And if you want to get fancy, then you can pick up a pair of long needle nose. Then you're definitely going to want to have a set of vice grip type pliers. I would get the standard and the needle nose. then you're definitely going to want a set of service pliers, like for oil filters and stuff. You're also going to want to invest in a quality set of wire stripping pliers and wire crimping pliers. You're also going to want to invest in a quality set of snap ring pliers. A lot of fasteners are held together with snap rings, so you definitely want to pick up a set of these. These will also be in the description of the video, and they're also available on my website at howtoautomotive.com on the tools and product page. Those are just some of the basic pliers you're going to want. As you can see, there's hundreds and hundreds of different types of pliers, plier type tools. Next, you're going to want to invest in a quality set of screwdrivers. Nothing fancy, just your basic handheld screwdrivers. And then also, I would recommend you get a set of good quality pry bars. I use these a lot on suspension work and stuff like that, so you'll definitely want to get a set of these up. The next investment I would make would be into a quality impact screwdriver set. This allows you to get those stubborn Phillips and flathead screws out that are stuck. Next, I want to talk to you about light. One of the most valuable tools I have is a flashlight. I would recommend that you get a rechargeable flashlight, like this Stinger flashlight here. They're a little on the expensive side, but they're so worth it. I make more money with this flashlight than I do most of the tools in my box. The next flashlight I would recommend is this wand style flashlight. They're great for illuminating like entire engine bays and stuff. I'll put links for these in the description of the video. Now I want to talk to you about a service cart. I would buy a service cart before I went out and bought a big toolbox. So I just get a multi-drawer service cart. So you're going to do most of your work out of a service cart anyways. So I'd recommend you fill it up as much as you can and customize it to your likings.
So I hope this video has helped you guys out, making the right decisions, getting started with your tool purchases. I will link up my top 10 favorite tools that I recommend you get in the description of the video, and also on my website. I have a tools and product page that has 90% of these tools that I recommend today on there, and you can pick those up there. I'm Brian Essick from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. Encourage you to subscribe. Invite you to head over to that howtoautomotive.com and check out that tools and product page. And I'd also like to thank you again for watching.